Beautiful day, everyone. So just bear with me as I get everything set up this morning. Wanted to go ahead and keep my word and try to get on here by 7:45. So, which means I'm just a little bit behind. I had trouble in paradise this morning. Oh my gosh, spirit woke me up at 5:30 and the body was like, nope, need to sleep more. Woke me up again at 6:30 before my alarm went off. I don't actually need an alarm to go off to wake up at any time, but you never know. And just having a trouble getting going, and finally woke up around 7, a little bit after 7, and the fabulous Divine L was doing her live, and it was awesome. It was very, very, very good message. It's sort of like my angels forced me up out of bed so I could hear what Divine L had to share this morning, and that gave me the oomph that I needed to get going. And so I am here, and I just need to get the cards ready. I have my white tea. Where's my white tea? I have my white tea and my mug. I used tea bags this morning. I used Prince of Peace tea. That is a tea an organic white tea. Sometimes green tea is a little too harsh first thing in the morning. But I am definitely a tea drinker. So let's see if we can get some sounds. Oh, not feeling that. All right, hopefully that's not too annoying. Okay. So today we have on our reading, we will be exploring hexagram number 10. So let me get that out. Hexagram number 10. Yesterday we did hexagram number 9, which was taming power of the small. Oh, today is hexagram number 10, and that is treading. It's all about conduct, self-awareness. Proceed with caution and sensitivity, keeping in mind correct behavior. So that is from the Osho Zen. I thought that little white line was a kitty cat hair. Her nice fluffy hair is everywhere. I remember before I became an adult cat owner, I mean, I had cats when I was little kid, my mother. I did have one cat when I was 21, but unfortunately, my roommates opened the door and she escaped into the streets and met a very unfortunate demise. That was my beloved Brandy, who was a burgundy, a reddish brown striped tiger cat. But I loved her dearly. She used to play with me. But now that I have my own cat, before I would be like, oh my gosh, cat hair is so gross. I still think it's quite gross, but I love my baby's cat hair. So Benabel Wynn refers to hexagram number 10 as treading on the tiger's tail and proceed with caution. Before we begin, let us start with taking a couple of deep centering breaths and bringing us into this sacred space. And while we do that, I need to get a charger before my phone goes dead, so bear with me. a moment or two. Okay, I am coming. Little crazy girl ran into my bedroom, and she knows she's not allowed to be in there because the moment I open the door, she runs like a bat fleeing from hell just so she can get into my room. So I have a cord. Nala, no. Do not chew on that. So give me one moment getting this camera, getting this. There we go. Okay, so where were we? So we are going to look at hexagram number 10 today. But before we start, we are going to do a Kuan Yin contemplation. Ah, here we go. There we go. There's our Kuan Yin for today. Here, I'll put it this way so you can actually see the full picture. So we're looking at Kuan Yin of non-duality. And again, before we start, let's take a nice deep centering breath. You can take your left hand and put over your heart center, and your right hand and put over your lower dantian, which is, you can do it either right under your belly button, right on top of it, or just above. This morning, I'm feeling led to put my right hand just above my belly button. And let's take a nice, slow breath down into our bellies. And just hold for a couple of seconds. And then exhale. And once again, nice, deep, slow breath. And hold. And exhale. Okay, welcome, Emoji King. Welcome. Okay, so Kuan Yin of non-duality. The key word is contemplation. The key word is contemplation. With her legs crossed in the lotus posture, Kuan Yin sits on a rock holding a golden scepter called a Vajra in her hands. She wields it as protection from negative energies and demons. In this form, she permits neither procrastination nor timidity and protects sentient beings from attacks and conflicts. In Asian traditions, demons are regarded as independent and evil entities that may cause natural disasters, as well as irritations and obsessions within the human mind. Have you ever met someone, engaged with someone, or even married to someone that you felt was obvious that they were demon possessed, that they were acting in ways that were extremely contrary, not simply to society, but even to themselves? Well, the Asian tradition realized that these folks were demon possessed. There are many Asian ceremonies that use symbolic thrusting weapons to fight demons. I have no idea what that noise was. I'm not going to look. I'll have to deal with it later. Kuan Yin of non-duality holds her double-edged scepter for this purpose. And I'll let you see that once again. Welcome, Divine L. Welcome, Tan Hawk Group. So there's that Vajra scepter to exorcise demons. Kuan Yin of non-duality holds her double-edged scepter for this purpose. If we hold on to irritations and obsessions, our old mental patterns, we get stuck. Not only do we fail to make progress, we may also become aggressive or depressed. Once caught in these patterns, we tend to develop extreme black and white thinking. How apropos, I'm wearing a gray blouse and a black and white skirt today. Instead, we need to find our way back to a balanced center. From the center, we can realize that ultimately everything is one, and there is no duality. Whenever we succeed in internalizing this point of view, we can enjoy a state of serenity. If they need a Vajra bearing God, he will appear as a Vajra bearing God and preach the law for them. And that is from chapter 25 of the Lotus Sutra. And the contemplation for Kuan Yin of duality. Connect with Kuan Yin of non-duality. If you desire mental clarification or want to banish disturbing thoughts or inner conflicts, select a personal symbol or visualize Kuan Yin's scepter and use it to rid yourself of these irritations. Practice relaxation or meditation methods that can help you experience non-duality. So that little short breathing meditation that we did right before we began, that is one such meditation that you can do that it really, at least for myself, it really helps to bring your center together, to remind you of your core, and it really does bring a balancing effect. Okay, so again, we are on hexagram number 10, treading. And as you can see, there's a woman and she's walking on a tight rope. And it looks like, well, yeah, actually she's like walking over a river or a stream on a tight rope. And you know, when you're balanced and you have released that non-duality and realize that everything is one, and duality and non-duality are nothing but the same, you too, we too, us too, will be able to tread over the running waters and keep our balance. So we are looking at heaven over lake. And please excuse my voice is probably a little groggy because I literally did just wake up, listen to Divine L's live this morning, and this is the first time I'm speaking. So we're going to first look at the late Professor Kursan Hong's translation, direct translation of hexagram number 10. And hexagram number 10 is made up of two bagua, which is heaven over lake. And Professor Hong also entitles hexagram number 10 as treading. treading on a tiger's tail. It bites not, sign of the sacrifice. So, as usual, we start with the lower bagua and work our way up to the top. So we start with the lower yao, the lower line, which is a yang line or yang line, two masculine lines and one feminine line. And Nala is right here on my lap, keeping me warm. Line yao 1, go safely in shoes unadorned. A walkway broad and level, good omen for a prisoner. The blind can see, the lame can walk, treading on the tiger's tail. It bites. Misfortune. A military man becomes king. And moving into the heaven bagua. Treading on the tiger's tail, fearful situation. All ends well. A broken shoe. Danger. Watch your steps. Up to the temple of learning. The return will be glorious. And we will look at Benebell Wynn's breakdown of hexagram number 10. We have heaven over lake. So let's look at, okay, they are right next to each other. Actually, we have heaven there and lake over there. So we'll start with the lower bagua first. Lake, a fertile womb, receptivity for further growth, nourishment, receiving pleasure, tranquility, devotion, joy, satisfaction, stagnation, openness, intuition, and vision. The element, the Wu Jing, the element is metal. The direction is west. The season of the yellow path is autumn equinox. The season of Lo Shu Nine Halls is cardinal winter. The life aspect is children, fertility, and nurturing. Medically, it's related to the mouth, the oral cavity, the digestive and reproductive systems, chronic pain or disease, nutrition, sexuality. The chakra is the third chakra. The animal is the sheep and also the tiger. The archetype is the diviner. The immortal is Zheng Li Quan, patron of warriors, ceremonial magicians, and alchemists. The empowered state of Lake Hexagram, of Lake Bagua, is hexagram number 58. So basically, the empowered state means that hexagram number 58 is a double lake. Okay, and so we're looking now at the Bagua heaven, which is creation, the creative force, divine yang, strength and creativity, expansive energy, the sky, power, authority, the celestial kingdom, the immaterial and intangible. So on the one hand, with the lake, you have the fertile womb and receptivity for further growth. And you can even kind of visualize that womb within the Bagua. And there's the entrance to the womb. And then the heaven Bagua is creation, the creative force. So you have the creative force entering that fertile womb. The element is metal. The direction is northwest. The yellow path season is cardinal autumn. And the season, Lo Shu Nine Halls, is winter solstice. Life aspect is fatherhood, blessings, allies, friends, opportunity. Medically, it's related to the head, brain, spinal cord, nervous system, mental or emotional states. The chakra is the crown chakra. The animal is the horse. The archetype, the philosopher and the sage. And the immortal is Han Jiang Ji, patron of musicians. So on the one hand, the archetype for heaven is the philosopher and the sage. And on the other hand, the lake, the archetype, is the diviner. So you can put those two together, the philosopher or the sage and the diviner. And then you have the crown chakra and the third eye chakra. And interesting, you have the juxtaposition of the horse and you also have the sheep, but that sheep can also be a tiger, two completely different animals. But I think that is also what helps to lead towards that balance and that centering. And we have a new person here. Welcome, Tasha. Welcome. Okay, so let's see what Benabel has to say about hexagram number 10. Treading on the tiger's tail. How is everyone this glorious day? Treading on the tiger on the tail of the tiger. Yes, as soon as I said that, my own little gray tiger looks up at me with her loving little eyes. Know the high from the low. Know the high from the low. Exercise discernment. Proceed with caution. By treading with caution and yet being sure of your every step, you succeed at a dangerous undertaking. Be careful of those who try to disrupt your path. Walk your path alone for now. Trust in your own values. Do not seek out support or aid at this time. The perseverance, but baby, I will always have you as my spirit animal. Don't worry. As soon as I said, trust in your own values and do not seek aid at this time, little Nala lets out a little squeak. The perseverance of a hermit brings good fortune. The endeavor will succeed. To know your future, you must review your past. So those are very potent words. And last but not least, we will check out what Brother Brown Walker has to say about this hexagram. He has such a very unique and succinct way of really pulling all the pieces together. So he titles hexagram number 10, Treading, puts in parentheses, conduct. Lasting progress is won through quiet self-discipline. You know, the last couple of days, myself, as well as Divine Needle and Divine L, have pulled some cards, some oracles or some tarot cards that point to teamwork, pinky swear and teamwork. And believe it or not, within ourselves, we have a team. You know, we all have our own individual trinity. And some might call it me, myself, and I. Others might refer to it as our conscious mind, our unconscious mind, and our subconscious mind. Those are all part of the team of the universe that makes us who we are. And lasting progress can be won when we sit silently and contemplate and reflect on and learn from our center within. And Divine L, as soon as I was about to say the word within, I see your comment pop up. Yep, as within, so without. So we must, as this image shows us, Tread lightly. Learn to rely on our self-discipline. This hexagram outlines the foundation of proper conduct within ourselves, with those with whom we may have conflicts, and within the larger society. I'm going to try that one more time. This hexagram outlines the foundation of proper conduct within ourselves, with those with whom we may have conflicts, and within the larger society. It serves to remind us that no genuine gains can be made unless we are rooted firmly in the principles of the sage. And we all know who the sage is, right? If you know who the sage is, please put it in the chat. And I would say we're definitely walking with our sage when we learn how to balance and tame our inferior nature with our superior nature. And I would even venture to say that sometimes we might need to pull energy from that inferior nature when we're dealing with certain situations. An image often associated with this hexagram is that of treading on the tail of the tiger. Yep, Divine L says it, the waters of wisdom. That is the sage, our higher self. We have this eternal and internal spring from which to dip from. And we can do it if we are able to tame our inferior nature, our lower nature, in order to dip that little cup into the waters of wisdom and not shake it loose and spill the waters all over. An image often associated with this hexagram is that of treading on the tail of a tiger. The tiger may be some strong or malevolent force in your own personality, just as Divine L mentioned, as within, so without. Or it may be a particularly volatile individual or situation with which you have to deal. In either case, the advice of the I Ching is the same. One avoids the bite of a tiger by treading carefully. To tread carefully means that we remain steadfastly innocent and conscientious of our thoughts and actions. Those are some wise words right there, because sometimes it's not easy to remain steadfastly innocent, to remain conscientious of our thoughts and actions. Because we've all been there where we've been in a situation where we know that we've been wronged, especially within a relationship or within a work environment, in a very personal, interpersonal environment. And what can happen sometimes is when you've allowed yourself, because one time something happening is one thing, or even a second time something happening, but when you continue to put yourself in that situation where you're dealing with someone who is extremely volatile and you're having to, quote unquote, combat that volatility. Say in the beginning, you dealt with that situation with a lot of patience and kindness, but you did not have proper boundaries and you didn't release that situation or walk away. What can happen when you continually allow yourself to be subjected? And also sometimes, especially if it's little children, they have no choice. They have no choice, but their reaction tends to be different from an adult. What happens with adults is they can become reactive. So, say they're in a volatile situation or abusive situation, receiving from outward circumstances, a reactive response an unhealthy response can turn into reactive abuse or reactive volatility. But we also have to remember that ultimately, and as able bodied adults, we are responsible for ourselves and what situations that we put ourselves in. So the I Ching reminds us to tread carefully and means that we remain steadfastly innocent. And what is steadfastly innocent means? It means, from my interpretation, and you guys might have something different, so let me know what you think. Steadfastly innocent is choosing to connect with your superior, the superior forces within you, rather than the inferior support forces in you. And conscientious of our thoughts and actions. The superior forces within you will help keep you grounded, will not allow you to react in volatile ways, will encourage you to be wise and tread carefully. The inferior nature within you will encourage you to say, lack of better term, tit for tat. That is an inferior response. It is inevitable that people will display varying levels of spiritual understanding. It is not our duty to condemn or correct others, but simply to go on developing ourselves. And again, that is the superior force within us expressing, allowing, we allow ourselves to express from the superior force. Do not imagine that you can hasten your progress through aggressive actions now. Power that is sought and wielded pridefully has a way of evaporating when you need it most, thus exacerbating your difficulties. The only lasting influence is that which arises naturally from a course of steady self development. In the end, it is our inner worth that determines the outer conditions of our lives. I need a sip of tea for that one. So let's read that again. Let's really absorb that line and contemplate it and breathe it. In the end, it is our inner worth that determines the outer conditions of our lives. And we can look at it this way. When we are firmly established in our inner worth, how do you see that manifesting in your life or in anyone's life if they're firmly rooted in their inner worth? I see that as healthy, proper, and healthy boundaries. Learning when to say yes, knowing when to say yes, and knowing when to say no. And sometimes even knowing when to just lie low and drop back. Healthy boundaries. Those who resolve to persevere in humility, sincerity, and gentleness can tread anywhere, even on the tail of a tiger, and meet with success. So there we go. And before we go, because I would like to have this reading under 40 minutes, and I have about 6 minutes left. Oh, it is so difficult to get up when you have a kitty in your lap. Luckily, I have a nice flexible jersey skirt on. Oh, if you could see me playing the contortionist right now. Okay. Divine Ale says that is exactly what I have to do today. Tread on the tail of two tigers. Well, wishing you the best and that your superior nature is there to support you, and that your Vajra scepter that we saw Kuan Yin have earlier will help you to exercise your superior nature and exorcise any demons, any tigers that might be in your path. So we're going to pull one oracle card from, you can see my beat up little book. It looks so disgusting. The Cosmic Deck of Initiation. And this is by Barbara DeLong. All right. So we're going to go ahead and pull pull our card of truth today. And again, if you guys didn't hear me from the start, please check out Divine L's channel. She does a daily mission. I'm not sure the name of the segment you put out, Divine L. Please feel free to write it in the comments section and I'll make sure to read it properly. The live chat doesn't show up once the video is uploaded, which is probably good because I figure live chat can be kind of personal and should be for those who are here live. So check out Divine L's The Daily Mission Guidance. And it's wonderful. Okay, so we are going to pick our cards for today. And whoops, how did that get in there? There we go. Universal compassion. Universal compassion. Before I even get into this, because this used to confuse me, and sometimes it still kind of triggers me, and probably because my boundaries are not where they should be. Universal compassion. Compassion does not equal to doormat. Compassion does not mean that you continue to accept unacceptable behavior from anyone or any situation or any circumstance in your life. It does not mean that. But what I feel that it does mean, or think that it does mean, is that even when we're wielding our Vajra, our scepter, our sword, our katana, that we understand, therefore the grace of God, go I. To me, that is what compassion means. So you continue to source from the superior forces within, the superior nature, but don't take no mess. Release it all to spirit. Okay, so universal compassion. Here we go. We're going to see what Barbara DeLong has to say about universal compassion. Letting go of the self, selflessness, and an empathy for all that surrounds you. There you have it, an empathy for all that surrounds you. Universal understanding and acceptance on a non-judgmental level. This quality opens and expands all other qualities and aspects of living. You are drawn into the realms of the unseen and higher levels of perception, acceptance with love of individual destinies. Welcome, Sarah. Welcome. Okay, so let me get my shout outs today. We have Divine L, we have Sarah, we have Tasha and Emoji King and Tan Hawk Group, and whatever others we have that have not introduced themselves, then that is fine. So, universal compassion, compassion for yourself first, and compassion for those around you. Let's see. Okay, let's see. It's my chat. So I'm not going to have time to do individual readings today, but hopefully next time. And if you're interested in the individual reading, we also have donations, and you can check me out on Venmo at Tamu and Gina, or Cash App at, what was that again, Divine L? What's that cash sign? Oh yeah, the dollar sign. It made me laugh so hard. Dollar sign Tamu and Gina, or paypal.me/Tamu and Gina. I'm also available for offline readings. If you send a donation, I will do a short video reading for you, and I can post it privately or live for you, depending on however you want it. However, I'm a little bit backed up right now, and I am preparing for the Cannabis Festival here in Kutztown that will be this weekend. So I am frantically getting some paintings done, although I don't have a whole lot of paintings, a few. And Divine L and her dear husband have already picked out one of the paintings, so I'm going to have to make some more. And so once I get on the other side of this weekend, I'll definitely be more open and free, but I can do some short video readings right now. Anyway, I got to get going. Got laundry to fold, dishes to do. I have my meditation teacher class coming up, and I got to get the little one up because he's got school soon. So I wish you guys all the best going out into the day. Thank you, Divine L. Tread lightly, tread lightly, tread lightly. Remember your center within. No matter what's going on above you or below you or to the side of you, if we can continue to pinpoint that center within, no matter what happens externally, no matter what happens, no matter absolutely what happens, we will be okay. And Divine L says, I will tiptoe like a ballerina. And again, thank you, Divine L. And please, everyone, subscribe to Divine L's channel and to her husband's channel, Divine Needle. Well, I guess it's both of their channels. You will not be disappointed. Love you much. Wish you peace and great bliss. Tamu and Gina, Priestess Heart. Have a glorious day. And again, the camera is situated to where I cannot turn it off. So have a glorious day. Until next